I'm Michael Mullin. I lived in Tofino since the early 70s. I've been quite involved in the alliance with the Nuu-chah-nulth people. We're on Clayoquot territory here. This is Clayoquot. This is interesting. I find myself saying Clayoquot Sound when I'm talking about geography, and Tla-o-qui-aht when I'm talking about culture. And the Tla-o-qui-aht people live here, and I've been honored and unbelievably privileged to live here and share in their world since, like I say, the 70s. And in the early 80s, around the Mears Island issue, we got quite involved assisting them as allies in their attempt to protect their own property. And I've been here ever since. Lifetime on the water, growing oysters, spent many years growing oysters, raised 4 kids on float houses and fish boats and sailboats, 10 years underwater digging clams. And I've been out there most of my life. And even then, we were talking about what they were calling dendrochronology. Even then, in the earliest of our Mears Island issues, we could see the salmon are feeding the forest. And we could see if you measure the growth rings, you can say, oh, this year was a big run. And oh, look, here are some tough years. They're an absolute miracle. These conversations have shifted because 40 years ago, 30 years ago, people were saying things, finding out things. And now it's really clear. We know very well how the salmon feed the forest. 30% of the isotopes in the trees come from the salmon. You can find it in the feathers of the birds way up in the canopy. Each bear puts 1,500 kilos of salmon into the woods every year, right? The salmon are a miracle that bond this province, and that's why this is such an incredible province. That's why we have forests. The first salmon who went up and found this nice spawning bed on the other side of this lake up in that creek, and he goes back to his buddies. He says, hey guys, guess what? I know where the chicks are. Let's go, we're gonna get it. We can go come on, come with me. We're gonna swim hundreds of miles up a river and exhaust ourselves and stop eating and have all our flesh fall off and beat ourselves out and our eyes will fall out. And then finally we'll get up this waterfall and there we'll be. Sound like a good plan? And they're insane. No other species does that. This whole province is a miracle. The fish are a miracle, the forests are a miracle, the rivers are a miracle, and then we come along and fuck it all up. Access to power impedes the ability to think. People consistently make decisions that are clearly against their best interests. Not about hindsight, not about missing information. And the other thing we have this terrible habit for, and again, fish farms like fracking, is, oh, this looks like a good idea. Let's do it everywhere, and then we'll find out what the consequences are. We know about reconciliation. We know about carbon dioxide. We know about old growth logging. Let's do it. We need action. We need real action now, quickly. Enough blah, blah, blah. To quote the famous. So the hope is, and the good thing is, that the Native people are still here, that they know who they are, that they know whose land they're on, that they know where they're going to be in the future. These people, this is their bloody place, and they know it. And that's the hope. That's the real hope.